Hey, what's up everybody? Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I'll be going over how I defeated round 15 of the Hades Cup. Now, just a few notes here. This isn't exactly the setup I used. When I originally went through it, there was a shared Hainer Pence Olette that someone was using, so that really helped. It had SP attack gauge 1 on it, and I was using my illustrated KHUX Kyrie with second chance in it, so this is kind of a reverse situation. The illustrated Kyrie here does have extra attack, but that's going to be easily balanced out by the fact that I only have one Hainer Pencilette with an SP skill in it. So this one here, it does have extra attack like the shared metal that I used, but I don't have a skill in it to lower the cost. So essentially it kind of levels out in the end. So that is going to be generally my setup for what I used. The 0.2 Kyrie has defense boost 2 on it. It has no traits. Both of the Hainer Pencilette medals have extra attack on them, with one of those two having SP attack gauge 1. I use Aladdin and Abu to buff my power medal, the medal I want to use to wipe out a lot of my enemies. And that medal is going to be Key Art 9 with attack boost 3 max, SP gauge 2 on it. Max Gilted, it's going to have HP plus 800 plus ground enemy defense minus 60, which is really important to have that ground enemy defense minus 60. I believe if I didn't have it, I might not be able to shell enough damage like I planned. But I'll go ahead and talk about that. So, again, I'm going to go over some general tips first, and then I'm going to hop into the actual demonstration. So number 1 is try and use some single target medals, especially if you have a single target buffer for whatever your heavy hitting medal is going to be. So in my case, my single target buffer is going to be Aladdin and Abu. It buffs up speed power by 2 tiers for 1 turn, and I was lucky when I rolled for him. I did get the extra attack, so I'm going to get that 4 tiers of speed buffing, but you could easily get away with 2 in my opinion, with a Key Art 9 with ground enemy defense minus 60. So again, Kingdom Hearts 2 Kyrie is another example of a single target buffer medal that you can use for this exact purpose. The next tip I am going to have is, with your single target buffer medals, aim for the Emerald Sonata first. So it has a counter, and once it gets down to 0, that Sonata is going to heal HP, and you don't want that. You want to be able to avoid that healing as much as possible by knocking it out. So what I do is I go into the 0.2 Kyrie to buff up all my medals, and then I use my Hainer Pencilette medals on the Emerald Sonata, making it use its heal before I do any severe damage to anything. So that is number 2 in my strategy here. Number 3, and this one's actually really important, is make sure you try and take out the archers all within 1 turn and with your heavy hitting metal. So in my case, I used Key Art 9 to blast all the archers in order for them to not cause problems, because the archers, after you hit them twice, cause certain status ailments. So one causes sleep, and getting put to sleep could easily knock you out. One causes paralysis, and not being able to activate your medals in the specific order you want them to could screw you over in this event. And the last one casts poison on you after getting hit twice, and that's really significant because if you get poisoned, even if you have second chance 1 or 2, immediately when you get revived, you get knocked out by the poison. So it's important to take out the poison one the most, in my opinion. The next tip I'm going to have is, if you have a powerful single target buffer, again, like Aladdin and Abu, it's got a high multiplier, high guilt, does high damage. After you use your single target hits on the Emerald Sonata in order to make it use its healing move, aim for that dual blades, because that thing will cause paralysis on you, and you do not want that. You do not want to be paralyzed. You do not want to be caught in a situation where you're kind of playing with RNG. You want to avoid getting hit with random number generating as much as humanly possible. You want things to go off well here. Alright, another tip is that debuffing isn't nearly as important in this round as it was in previous rounds. It does help, don't get me wrong. Like for example, I'm using Key Art 9, that is a debuffer, but it's not as important as the other ones because you'll still do sizable amount of damage without defense debuffing. And this one, like some of the ones in the past, is a battle of attrition. The main enemy, the rat on wheels, I forgot what it's called, the Ratty Rat Trio, has a lot of HP bars, so it does become a battle of attrition once you knock out everything else. Now, I can't guarantee that I will survive, but again, I just want to give you the tips before I jump in so that I don't die instantly and then it doesn't get the message across what I did. So let's go ahead, give it a shot, see if I can do it again one more time with this setup. Normally, people go in with Defense Boost 3, and I would recommend going in with Defense Boost 3 because it procs more often than Defense Boost 2. Alright, but here we go. So I'm going to show you what I did. So, boom, go into the Kyrie. All the counters go down by 1, but you need that buffing. It's essential for later. So we're going to go a tap on the Emerald Sonata, and then another tap on it because we want to keep our gauges high for the time being. Alright, so it uses its healing move. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and start buffing ourselves up. If you don't target anything with the attack, it automatically defaults to the Ratty Rat Trio in the middle. So that's fine because it doesn't have a counter on it. But now that that Dual Blades is within range, it's on my screen and I can pick it, I'm going to go ahead and use my Aladdin to buff myself up and to cause some damage to that Dual Blades, which we want to get rid of. So again, we're going to do the damage to it and buff ourselves up some more. Make sure that you time your Nova, just because the Nova will also activate the counters. So here we go. This is my heavy hitting metal. I used it to wipe out the archers so that they wouldn't hit me with their status ailments. So let me show you what I mean. Hopefully it knocks all of them out. It did when I did it the first time. Boom. Alright, archers, gone. No worries. I don't have to worry about status ailments being the reason that I died. So that's what you want to do. You want to get rid of those archers so that you don't have to pay the price for it later. I'm going to go ahead and use my Nova now because I want to knock out that Emerald Sonata. I want to get attacked as light as I possibly can. And then we will continue on from there. So we'll go ahead and use our Kyrie to start restoring our gauges. And, you know, looking back on it, I could have used those Hainer Pences Olette at the beginning because I did end up with enough gauges at the very end. Alright, so here it is. Here's their onslaught. It's probably going to knock me out. There you go. It knocked me out. And then we do get the second chance. So now I'm going to start pummeling them as much as I can. So here we go. We're going to go into Hainer Pences Olette. Hainer Pences Olette. Hainer Pences Olette again. And Hainer Pences Olette again. So now we're at 4 tiers of general buff defense, and then 4 tiers of each attribute defense. So that's really good. Alright, we're going to go ahead and attack. Now, this I have to be careful of because I have to go into that last metal with 4 gauges, but I believe it shouldn't be a problem. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to use our heavy hitting metal here and hopefully destroy that bandit. Ooh, we didn't get the destruction on the bandit, but our illustrated KH2 Kyrie should be able to do the job for us. Alright, so there's the first attack, and here's the next one. Now I have to, this is where I kind of rely on RNG a little bit, because I need defense boost to proc enough times to keep me alive. It does not. I get knocked out. But under normal circumstances, or under circumstances that are in my favor, I do stay alive for that, and then I pretty much keep going into the rounds like normal. I target the dual blade until it's done, and then I focus all my attacking onto the Ratty Rat Trio. It becomes a battle of attrition, but when you have 2 Hainer Pences Olettes, I believe no amount of damage that it does to you will knock you out after your second turn, because then you have 7 tiers of general defense, 7 tiers of each attribute defense, and if you have defense boost on you, then it's likely it won't even knock you out. So at that point, it's that battle of attrition I was talking about earlier, and that's how I did round 15. As you can see, I did get all the objectives, so hopefully that's enough proof to kind of say that I did it. And yeah, those are my tips for 15. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to throw them down in the comments below. I will try my best to answer them. And I felt like this was the most important round to put up first, so I am going to put this round up first, and hopefully it helps. Until the next video, everyone, take it easy.